Hello everybody, welcome to this playthrough for Master Division with various wins for the Ocean Links 9-hole cup. We're gonna play a mix of the Drummer Links, Centenary Harbor and the Namhe Cliffs. And in this video, you won't just see tailwind videos. Why? It's because these are the videos I do have for you. So to be able to provide a playthrough, I've done my best to give you at least advice on how to play any of these holes in whatever wins you get in whatever game mode. If you are interested in our premium guides, you go to patreon.com/goldclashtom. You can also scan the QR code here on the screen. When it comes to a Master Division, we always do 9-hole cups and we always do 18-hole tournaments. It's free to play or paid balls, whatever you want to use. Obviously, we do have for other game modes as well, such as Tour Play, Checkpoint Challenge, and 18-hole tournaments, as already mentioned. Follow the info box on the right-hand side for the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions, and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there's always a plan behind it. Last but not least, before we move to hole number 1, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications. All of those things are free and helps the channel immensely. Let's go to hole number 1. Alright, so here we do have option number 1, send it, and here we advise not to play this shot if you haven't checked the wind angle. And how do you check the wind angle? And that you do after being pulling 10 rings with Apocalypse level 8, 9.2 rings with a POC 7, or 8.5 rings for a POC 5 and 6. I would strongly advise you to not play this shot if you, after your wind angle check, have a plus yardage that is 24 or above. And the reason for that is then you have too much crosswind and you risk to not reach to the fairway pad, and that would be an automatic drop into the water. But if you do have the wind angle correct, or you just want to gamble and you don't really care, then you play 4.5 bar topspin, 1 right spin. And what's going to happen is that depending on where you reach on the fairway pad, look how close that is. It was just at the beginning of that fairway pad, but it's either going to bounce you over the rough and land you nicely on green, or it's going to be clipping the rough, rolling out, so you do have a wedge. So it's a very risky shot that you're taking, but obviously the reward could be massive. But I would once again strongly advise you to do that wind angle shot by doing those ring pulls. So for an example, let's say I have Apocalypse level 8, I should be checking my plus yardage off the 10 ring pull, and let's say that I should be adjusting 16 rings for my wind. Then I pull 10 rings, I take a pause, and then I check my plus yardage, then I pull the rest of the 6. So that's how you do it, and that's, in my opinion, the only way to be 100% knowing if you're gonna reach to the pad or not. Otherwise, it's gonna be a gamble, and you're gonna make it sometimes, and you're not gonna make it sometimes. For the EB school on the second shot, we are either going to play with no topspin, or like no spin at all, or we are going to play with max topspin play. This is a replay glitch, that's why it only shows +2, but it's still the same type of distance here. I judge this slider to be 55%, that's what I'm playing as well. And you can see here now that I'm having the ball guideline just slightly through the hole. I would definitely make sure that I'm looking at it from the side, so I'm not aiming on the right side of the pin, which is very easy to do in that situation. So in this instance, when it comes to the max topspin rule, I play EB school minus 30% P4. If I would be playing no spin, then I would be playing plus 25% P5 as EB school. My pull was very messy, and I definitely didn't get the correct amount of rings. That's why a great left there is actually going dead center. But with the max topspin play, we shouldn't have any issue getting that one to drop with greats. So for option number 2, the free-to-play layup option, you can play with a win 5-ball if you would like, but as it is the qualifying round, I honestly think that it's not worth it if you're going to play this route here. 0.8 top spin, 1 left spin. You can see that we're not really pushing here. I've been trying to go with some power hooks and stuff like that from the right, but the problem with the power hooks there is that we don't have tailwind enough many of the times to cut the corner of the trees, and will most likely end up into the hazard somewhere. So here we do adjust max plus 10 P3, and then we are using 0.8 ball of left curl. Pack the runner from start. We do want to use our long iron in completely minimum distance when it comes to taking our second shot. 340 to 345 yards is absolutely perfect. So for the second shot, it is important now that you have packed the runner as a short iron, because we do want to find the minimum distance line the easiest way possible. And what I would like us to do is to put the target at the minimum distance line, and then we are applying backspin so the ball guideline go just through the hole. It should be just through the hole, and then we correct so it's right at pin. And now we're going to play minimum distance minus minimum distance plus a 35% elevation plus 0.1 power 2 ball settings. I'm favoring 1201, that's at least the goal with my pull angle. And then we're going to center the ball, make sure to have no curl, overpower or underpower here, and then hit perfect. And you can see here that we bounce on the fairway and we roll lovely into the hole for a beautiful eagle. This is a safe option. You will always have a chance when it comes to making this type of play, but obviously you need to hit perfect on the second shot, and it is a lot of rings to adjust. So if you can send it, strongly advise you to send it. Get the guides on patreon.com/golfclub. Hole number 4, I consider this one to be a really good chance. A 3.5 bar backspin, and I'm setting up with a Spartan ball, which is a P4 ball. If you don't have any Spartan ball, set up with whatever P4 ball you may have to have the ball guideline to the hole and be positioned at the complete minimum distance line. Adjustment here now is always going to be max plus 15 P2 numbers, and this is what we will classify in the guide as the yellow angle. I'm looking at the first rock in this angle, that weird rock or whatever. That's my reference point, and it helps me making the decision if I'm having, you know, no tweak or if I'm going to have to do any tweak. Center the ball, hit perfect in yellow angle. We're not using any curl whatsoever, and I'm keeping no curl here in the 8.2 mile per hour. You can see that we're bouncing fairly close to the rough line. Single great left has been fine. Double great left has clipped the rough. Triple great left obviously is gonna clip the rough. It makes total sense. Any great right is fine. Have that in mind on hole number 4. Get the guide on patreon.com/golf-tommy. So for option number 1, we're gonna play with our Thor's hammer here, and we're gonna start at plus 28, top of plus 28 with Thor's hammer level 8, bullseye by rough line. Thor's hammer 6 and 7 start at max. Now we're gonna look at the wind angle here. Combined with obviously adding spin. Max top spin and 1 top spin boost and 2 left spin. When it comes to Thor's hammer level 6, we're gonna use in that case 2 top spin boost bar instead. And I understand that you might not get the full 2 left spin, but we're gonna get to that in the end. In this angle, we're not gonna do any adjustment whatsoever. Actually, this is low wind, and we do not need to adjust anything here. So we bounces on the fairway and we're getting it into the rough to roll down for a nice and short wedge. You can see that we use max curl with Thor's hammer and also max overpower with, I mean, we could say that it's definitely going to be a fast needle when it comes to that. When it comes to the curl here, you have slightly less curl with Thor's hammer level 6 and 7, but we judge that to not really matter. So you go with max curl with those type of club as well, and even though it's slightly less, you still, yeah, I mean, you go max curl. When it comes to different wind angles, obviously we will have some suggested wind angles tweaks for this as well. And in a worst case scenario, if you bounce into the rough with your first bounce and you not land on fairway, then it's an easy save from there to just get the ball down and get yourself an eagle. So this is definitely a possibility for a condor, that this could be very exciting, and especially when we don't really have to do much adjust. The only thing to have in mind with the adjust is that with Thor's Hammer 7 and 8 we adjust 1 to 1 from 16.5 as a base. And when it comes to what will be, when it comes to Thor's Hammer level 6 is 1 to 2. So if let's say we have 17.5 miles per hour and 16.5 is the base, then we adjust half a ring with Thor's Hammer level 6. Get the guide on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. So for the wedge, as per reference, we're stretching out, doing an EB school here. And here you need to pay attention to if you are on a more flat surface or you are higher up and have some type of downhill position. The wind is more or less straight, which obviously will simplify this. But I would say in this instance, when we are a little bit higher up than on complete flat, I would play this one plus 25% no spin. Or I would play it minus 30% P4 with max topspin. So you can see here we are slightly downhill here, and that's something to have in mind. If we are just flat, then we play 20% or we play minus 35%, depending on if we play no spin or the max topspin method. Nice little alba here on hole number 9. For the free-to-play option, we're going to play with a circ, and we're going to stretch out to max bullseye by the rough line. Now we're looking at the wind angle. In this wind angle, we are going to have our base, or not, we're going to have the base on 13.6 when it comes to every single time, which is the lowest wind on circ. So here I'm adjusting 0.3, max top spin and 2 left spin. And then we're going to let it fly. Max curl, sorry, not max curl, 1.8 ball of curl is what we're using. Try to hit perfect. Great left is better than a great right. However, though, even though if you make a mistake here or if you're just having a very unlucky outcome, then it's still a very easy save to get the ball down towards the green area. And now we're ending up having a very short wedge to pin. So we are only going to adjust, what can I say, we're going to do some minor tweaks based on what wind angle we have. Obviously that will be suggested into the guide, and you could obviously notice that I'm using a lot of topspin here, which makes it maybe a little bit complicated for APOC 5 users. APOC 6 can still play the same way. You will still have the speed to get towards green. With APOC 5 you can either gamble and hope you have some lucky bounces, or you can use in this instance you can use like a Thor ball with topspin boost, or you can even use a Bryson ball if you would like instead. So up to you to decide really what to do there. So the wedge here from the back, I mean, I'm doing this one extremely sloppy, but you can see how easy it is here, a no spin wedge. And it's basically, you can see here that I don't really have to do much thinking here, and I'm hitting a double great right and still dropping this one anyway. So but don't be as sloppy as I am here, but I just want to demonstrate the wedge so you can see how easy that will be. From there I will play EB school plus 20 if you want to do EB school, and obviously that's with no spin, and minus 35% elevation P4 if you're adding max top spin. So for hole number 4, we start with the sniper. Now I'm looking to have the left side of the red ring by the sand trap line, and I'm looking to have the bottom of the blue ring by the rough line. And I do recommend to turn the screen around like this to set up the position, because at least in my book that's easier to find the ring references there. 1 top spin and 1.5 bar right spin, or I would say a light 1.5 bar, so whatever that is for you, then it's either like a heavy 1.4 or a light 1.5. Swap to the Guardian, because otherwise we will have to adjust more than 10 rings, and we're going to go in between clubs with a sniper and P2 ball, so we go with the Guardian. Favorite 1201 is what I'm looking for here, and in this angle, this is going to be called the yellow angle, and this is 2 clicks of left curl. If we do have an angle that is more right of that, we're going to use more left curl. If we do have an angle that is left of that, we're not going to use no curl to have as wind angle tweaks. Bounce into the rough, and it rolls right at pin for a beautiful hole-in-one here on hole number 4. Get the guide on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Take your game to the next level with our Ultimate Tournament text guides for the Ocean Links 9-Hole Cup Expert and Master Division. As always, we are providing 9-Hole Cup guides for Expert and Master Division, qualifying round guide, and also then a final round guide. Both of the guides do provide shots for free-to-play balls, but also for paid balls for those that do want to mix and match or just do one of the other. Of course, we do have other stuff on Patreon. We have a platform that offers something for every game mode. So if you're looking for Checkpoint Challenge, Tour Play guides, 18-hole tournaments, 9-hole cups, we have you covered. Scan the QR code here on the screen or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy that is in the description down below, and then you will go to the page with all the packages. If it becomes difficult to choose choose a package, you can always contact us at support@golfclashtommy.com or hit me up on Messenger or Telegram. So start your journey and become a better player with our guides now for the Ocean Links tournament. So on the drive here, we are looking for starting at the top of +0 or just before +1. Have 10% of the blue ring inside the rough with a pock 7, blue ring by the rough line with a pock 8, 2.5 topspin and 2 right spin. And we're looking to have, that's basically the only thing that we're looking for. Adjustment is max +10 P3 here, and once we have adjusted, we shall not apply any overpower or curl. If you adjust into overpower, we recommend to use whatever overpower you adjust into, but even in a high wind, that's going to be a very minor amount to use. Perfect ball. And we're looking now to be somewhere around 325 to 332 yards. Have in mind that we're playing ourselves a bit more right than we did in the qualifying round, which gives us a bit more room on the second shot. So for the second shot, we're gonna do a rough and rock check here, where the rough meets the rock. +1 is that, as you can see there on the video. 3 left spin and 1.7 top spin. It's a heavy 1.7. But I judge that to be 1.7 topspin. Ball guideline to go through the hole, 2 green squares through the hole. So tip of the ball guideline to be the main focus here. When it comes to lower levels, B52, we can take a closer look here. So B52 in a lower level, it has slightly less ball guideline with B52 5 and 6. I would recommend to go approximately not 2 green square, but around 1.8 green squares through the hole to compensate for the lesser ball guideline. Adjustment is made. We do have a base of -2, which is +2, which is -5% elevation, 12% slider, hit perfect, and this is gonna drop for a nice little eagle here on hole number 5. Get the guide on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. So on the drive here, we can play with either P4 or P5 side spin 3 wind 4 ball. I would strongly recommend to play with a snow monkey ball if you do have that possibility. However, though, I have this video here to display that it is possible with a P4 side spin 3 as well. We're looking for that hole on the fairway. It's hard to see maybe, but you would notice it when you play. At the top of +16, which is max P3 line. Max topspin with a pock 7, which is 8 bars of topspin. Have in mind that those playing with a pock 8, you take off a slight amount of topspin, as you do have a little bit more. Now I'm doing overpower whatever I adjust into. However, though, I do want us to go with overpower whatever we adjust into -half a ring. So in this case, I'm doing a little bit too much overpower because there is a little risk if using this much overpower that I'm doing, that I'm rolling into the rough. Obviously, that's why we have a rescue option as well. But to simplify the whole, play with a P5, side spin 3, win 4 ball, and then you don't have to do any overpower whatsoever. A great left, a double great left has been fine, perfect has been fine, single great right has been fine, obviously with doing the correct pull angle with the correct overpower. A double great right will most likely roll into the rough. So on the second shot here, we are going to use all the right spin together with 2 top spin. And now there's two differences between, or there is a difference between the Cat 7 and the Cat 8 due to the slightly better ball guideline. On the Cat 8, we do want to have the tip of the ball guideline to be just to the beginning of the cup with Cat 8, and Cat 7 just leave approximately 1 green square short, pointing towards the hole. Now this is from +8, and we do have our base, or I had my base at max minus 10% P4 numbers from the +8 base here. However, though, I do want us to have it from +7, and the reason for that is that I do slightly under adjust here. It's a bit unlucky, obviously, but so +7 is our base for max minus 10% elevation P4 numbers. Bounce is very centered on the fairway, so there is no reason to be afraid of a great ball. Speed is perfect. The only thing that I could add here is that if you happen to fall down into the bunker, add 2 clicks of overpower to compensate. Get the guide on patreon.com/golf-tommy. So on the drive here, we're looking to have a wind between as little as 11.5 miles per hour. That's at least what I'm looking for. You can play with a luminary with any wind if you would like so, but I would recommend to switch to a wind 2 ball to have a slightly slower needle. Start with the bullseye by the rough line, max +10 P5. With Apocalypse level 8, we push up 6 yards after the adjustment. Apocalypse 6, we push up 8 yards, and Apocalypse 5, we push up 12 yards. Apocalypse 7, you push up the same as Apocalypse level 8, 6 yard. Now, for Apocalypse 7 and Apocalypse 8, we go with 1 ball of curl to the right, max overpower with a slower needle. When it comes to Apocalypse level 6, we shall reduce the curl just slightly, and with Apocalypse level 5, we go with 0.8 ball of right curls, we reduce even more there. The reason for that is due to having more top spin, the ball won't be pushed that far to the right. That's why we are increasing top spin, the increasing curl the more top spin we have on our club. So Apoc 7 and Apoc 8, 1 ball of curl, and always max overpower with a slower needle. So every club is using max top spin as much as you do have on that one. A great right is preferred over a great left. A great left has been stopping before the rough, but there is also a nasty glitch roll that can happen with a great left and will roll into the rough. There's nothing to be alarmed about that in terms of can you save the birdie? Yes, you can. You can most likely drop the eagle from there too, but it's obviously sucks if losing out on a good opportunity. For the pin check here, we are going to use +4 as a base, and +4 is going to be 40% slider, +10% elevation, P5 numbers. And with the pin checks, we're always going to play 2 right spin, leaving the tip of the ball guideline half a green square short of pin. Now, if favoring any side with pull here, I would favor 12 or 1, and you know, you should be just fine with a straight pull, but try to avoid 11.59 completely. Adjustment is made. We always pull over the bullseye, even though it could be sometimes less than 5 rings. Perfect ball here is going to have a very high drop rate. So bounce on the fairway up towards the green, and we're dropping this one then center for a lovely eagle here on hole number 16 with the pin check. Please take a look at the fringe check video if you do want to see a reference for that. Get the guide from patreon.com/golf-tommy. So for the fringe check, as a reference here for you all, we're gonna use the fringe where the fringe meets the green aligned with pin at the beginning of the green. 2 backspin, 2 right spin. The reason we're using backspin here is to avoid being so close to the bunker, which can happen in some angles. Half a green square short of pin, and now we do use +4 again as a base. A fringe check from +4, 64% slider, +10% elevation, P5 numbers. Then we add or subtract 0.1 from there. So here I'm adding 0.1 to my adjustment. Perfect ball is having a very good chance to drop, and we're dropping it dead center for a lovely eagle with the fringe check. Take a look at the pin check if you do want to see a reference for that as well. Get the guide on patreon.com/golf-tommy. So, hole number 7. This is a money shot, in my opinion. I know I should maybe call it money shot, but I like to call a money shot when I'm not missing this one with a perfect. So, we're using 1 right spin and 0.9 backspin, 2 clicks from the 1 backspin. Now, looking at having the right side of the ball guideline arc rolling over the right side of the cup. Now we're gonna play with a small 1159, and that's also from where we are checking the wind angle. This video here is headwind angle, which is going to be the blue angle in the guide. And now we are paying attention to one thing, which is, do we adjust down into that bunker or not? If we don't in this angle, then we're using 2 clicks of overpower. If we would adjust down into that bunker, we're using 4 clicks of overpower instead. This obviously to compensate for falling down to a lower point in that rough. So in the headwind angle, the overpower is crucial if you want to drop this one. If you do have a more crosswind angle, there is no need for any overpower if you don't drop down into the sand. Then we are just playing as normal, and it's still going to be money. So let's hope for a crosswind angle so we don't have to go with the clicks of OP. So NMT P4 ball. Always start with a P4 ball, and we play with the 7 top and 2 right spin. This is a play adapted for Apocalypse level 6 plus. Those of you playing for Apocalypse level 5 is not recommended here, in my opinion. We do make an adjustment, max plus 10 P5. And if you would like, you can swap to a P5 win 4 ball if you want to, but I don't see any need to. I'm just sticking with this ball. It's a slow needle, max OP, and we're playing with approximately 0.4 ball of curl. We bounce over to the other side. It's a controlled drive to avoid rolling into the rough, but with the bad great balls, we will most definitely roll into the rough. And then I recommend to pack the Amazon, because the Amazon will still reach as we do have a tailwind, and then we do have all the backspin with Amazon to make a safe way of getting us to the green. This is option number 1 to have. That said, we will have a safer option as well for lower level clubs, but also for those that do not want to take any risk, because the second shot is going to be technical. So for the second shot, we are going to do a fringe check here. You can see that now we do have a fringe check that is +4. We should do the fringe check where the fringe meets the green, aligned with the pin, or the green skirt is aligned with the pin. 1.5 bar top spin and 2 right spin. You can see here now that I'm looking to add the top spin, and then we use the right spin. Now we're looking to have the tip of the ball guideline, 1 green square, 1 green square before the hole. And then we do a pullback of 5 rings. Very important that you do this pullback, or you will miss the rough all the time, because we're gonna adjust to a higher point now. So you can see here now that we're adjusting for 15% elevation. Our base is 50% slider, and then 15% elevation P5 from +7. So in this instance, we are deducting 0.3 to the number, and you see we bounce into the rough, we roll, and we get this ball to drop. I dropped this one a couple of times, and what I would like to say is that this is not an easy drop. Even if you would be getting a glitch roll from the rough, you won't roll into the rough on the other side or into the water. It will still be a safe eagle, but this is the aggressive option. We will have a safe option as well with Luminary and the Guardian, that we just take the eagle and have an outside chance for an Alba. But this play here is definitely pushing for the best possible chance for an Albatross. Get the guides on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Master Division with various wins for the Ocean Links 9-hole cup. If you do want to do, like loads of people have already done, to join our Master Division community at patreon.com/golfclashtommy, use the link in the description down below, or scan the QR code here on the screen. Obviously we do have something for you that do play expert. We do have 18-hole tournaments, we do have checkpoint challenge, we have tour play guide, we have something for everyone. So you will find something, just that you scan the QR code or use the link in the description. Thank you once again for watching, and I wish you the best of luck in your Golf Clash game.